That looked like Avalanche hockey. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Postgame live from the Xfinity Studio. Of course, also presented by Bet365. We've got J. Mike and Rudo as the Avs win over the Washington Capitals 5-2, not 5-3. A very solid win for the Avs. I think a lot to be happy about. Imperfect, but a very good game from Colorado, J. Mike.
This was the response effort you hope to see on multiple levels. I feel like so many of the things we were clamoring for in pregame, we got out of this. We'll talk about a lot of it on the show, but this was the response you wanted to see against a competent Washington team. Mm-hmm. And now you hope you close out the homestand, on a strong note.
Yeah, I think if we can just start big picture, then this moves the Avs to 3-1-1 on the homestand. Pretty good. Is it perfect? No, but you've guaranteed you finish this homestand 500 at absolute worst, and realistically, you have a chance to be, 5 out of 7, close to 800 hockey if you can win the games you're supposed to through the rest of this homestand. That's for future shows, but you can only get to that by winning the game you're in, and the Avs went out and won that game. You kind of mentioned it. I think more than anything, you directly contrast this game to the Nashville one, and some of the exact same issues that left the Avs high and dry in that game were issues that the Avs either solved or, if they did crop up, battled through and still looked like a quality hockey team.
You didn't let things compound in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little sluggish out of the gate. It felt like a matinee game for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They found their legs. And they took control of this game, which is exactly what you would have expected to see from the Avs at home. I know they're shorthanded. You feel that on both ends of the ice right now.
For sure.
Defensively, there were some rough stretches in this game. And we'll dive into all of it. But I think when you're looking in the grand scheme of things to now have an opportunity to, at worst finish 500 on a homestand where it felt like, man, the Avs, I know not all these were part of the homestand, but 2 and 4 over the last 6. Like, what's going on? It's a good reminder of how good this team has been and how ridiculous the standard has become to where, they lose 2 games at home. And what in the world is happening right now?
This Avs team is struggling. No, they're just fine. They proved it in this matinee game. Let's hit the 60-second rundown here, and then we can really start diving into things. Avs start off on the right foot, even if it was a weird, iffy start. A nice play from Makar, a tip from Parker Kelly, and you have your 1-0 lead. You do give that back. Your penalty kill gives one up on a questionable penalty call. But you get that goal back in the second period on your own power play where Nathan MacKinnon finishes one. And you follow that up later in the second with a goal from Victor Olofsson. Felt like a couple of guys maybe getting the monkey off their back in this game. A bit of a get-right game for Colorado for some guys. Unfortunately, they do give that goal back quickly to make it 3-2, but the Avs with the lead going into the third period. They've been nails all year in that situation, and no different in this one. The Avs add 2.5 goals late. One of them didn't count, but take it to a 5-2 victory pretty comfortably. I know the runaway at the end of the game made it easy, but the Avs only gave up 3 shots on goal to Washington in the third period, which was, for over half of it, a 1-goal game.
Yeah, I think especially over the second half of this game, the Avs were in total control.
Yep.
They were the far better team 5-on-5 for the majority anyways, but it hit a stretch where they just very clearly kind of decided enough is enough. You get a couple home. I do think there was maybe a little bit of spite over the last 10 minutes. You want to get that emphatic FU goal, but it was it was everything you wanted to see really across the board. I mean, again, like I'm not saying it was a perfect performance. Had some bad puck management early that results in some high danger opportunities the other way. Give up some goals. Really can't blame Wedgwood too much on either of the goals that he allowed in this game. But for long stretches, the Avs were really cruising in this one. And it was encouraging to see, especially after it did look a little sluggish out of the gate of like, oh, it's going to be another one of these. And then you have the written in excuse of, well, we found out Nichushkin wasn't going to go right before. It's an afternoon game. Just wasn't our day, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
Screw that. You're the best team in the world.
Go win.
Get back on track. Get that dub.
And that's really impressive from the Avs forward core, I think, especially tonight. The only player on the wrong side of puck possession was Gavin Brindley, and that's a Gavin Brindley playing up in the lineup, probably a little bit higher than he should be because of some of the Avs injuries. The rest of your forward core was great when it comes to possession. Even some of these guys, they didn't play a ton of minutes. Boulay, Bardakov, Ivan, all under 6 minutes, and they all came out on the right side of possession in a little time that you gave them. So from there all the way up to the top where Nathan MacKinnon was just phenomenal tonight. The forward core looked like what you would expect a Colorado Avalanche forward core, even with missing not just Landy, but Nichushkin now as a late guy who draws out of the lineup. That was something that I fully loved from Colorado in this game, that it felt more like Avalanche hockey more than anything. And you can put your point on, well, they dominated puck possession and they were shooting the puck a lot and all of that. But there's also just a little bit of a vibe to the way that the Colorado Avalanche play when they're at their best.
100%. You can feel the energy shift when they really turn it on.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, they're cycling teams and they're attacking the net and they're putting pressure on you. And it changes the flow of the game. And all of a sudden, you're not facing as much danger the other way because the other team's playing on their heels. You have them in defense mode, basically just trying to survive. When the Avs decide they want to be this unit, they're borderline unstoppable. And I think that's what's frustrating about a game like Nashville.
Yep.
Or you just let the other team kind of bully you into a sluggish BS game.
Yeah.
And then you lose a frustrating one. And in this one, you simply refused. I mean, it was the inevitable effort that we saw so many times, early on in the season, where it's just this team's just too good 5-on-5 for this to really be a game.
And look at the difference when you compare to the Nashville game. Obviously, the Avs fall behind early and have to score goals to keep themselves in it. But look at the difference of what playing from ahead or tied does to you instead of playing from behind or tied. You look at some of the saves that Lindgren made in this game, and there were a couple that were really big saves on guys like MacKinnon, on guys like Natchez that could have been difference makers in the game. But with the Avs having a lead and those not going in, frustrating, but not game ruining, as opposed to the Nashville game where the Avs are trailing. You're down a goal, and you get a couple of great saves out of Saros in that game that is the result of the Avs losing because the other team made some nice plays, instead of having that wiggle room to, hey, there's another pretty good team on the ice. They're trying to stop you from winning. If some of those don't go in and you have a lead, it's a lot more tolerable, and you can continue to play in a more effective way instead of getting more and more desperate because you're trailing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like, even after, I'm trying to remember who scored that second one for Washington. The Avs go up 2 there, and then you basically immediately give up another one. They cut it to 3-2.
Yep. Ethan Frank,
yeah,
definitely a hockey player for sure that exists.
I've heard of him, maybe. But like, those are the sequences where it's like, yeah, you had kind of a rough goal out there, but because you had done the dirty work not 90 seconds before, you're sitting in an opportune position. I just feel like they set themselves up for success today in a way that they just really hadn't very consistently these last couple of games.
And again, top to bottom in their lineup, they did that. Sometimes in some of these losses lately, you feel like you're muddling through a game and you have to figure out how to shelter guys that are really struggling. There were some guys that I did not think had great games tonight, but even them were functional out on the ice for the most part. Yes, there were mistakes. Yes, the Avs got punished for them. It's an NHL hockey game that happens in every single hockey game to some extent. And while the Avs had those issues, it was not these spiraling out of control scenarios where they make one mistake and another and another. Like you said, it didn't compound on the Colorado Avalanche today. And that is, it feels like the Avs took that tough loss against Nashville, went back to their basics as a hockey team and played Colorado hockey. And that, it turns out, will beat most teams in the NHL.
Yeah, I mean, I think we even said it pregame. When you just do the basics, this team is so much better than everyone else. And that's what makes some of the uglier stretches so frustrating when you're not controlling possession, when you're just being sloppy on the boards and turning the puck over. Mm-hmm. You don't have to make it all that complicated. You're a really good hockey team.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, per Jared Bednar, Valerie Nichushkin got in a car accident on his way to the rink. Sounds like he's okay. We'll play the presser on later in the show so we can get that full quote, but just an update for those listening.
All right.
That's kind of a scary situation. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, that sucks.
It doesn't sound serious. Just sounds like enough. I mean,
good.
If it happened on the way to the rink.
Yeah.
Maybe take the day off.
Right. You don't need to. And the Avs won it for him anyway. So interesting. That's where the Avs injury luck is at. We're at car accidents at this point for Colorado's injury luck. So the Avs get through this one anyway without Val. Obviously, I hope he's okay. But Colorado looked good. It really, really encouraging. And then you move over to the defensive side. I know I've focused mostly on the forward side because some of the major mistakes in this game do come from Colorado's defense. They get a little bit lost. They get a little bit squirrely in their own net front area at times, and it was not great. But you still end up with a quality game. You only give up 2 goals. You feel happy with that every single night. Cale Makar should have had a multi-point night. He ends up with only 1 point. But you also get a point out of Josh Manson. You get effective hockey, even if sloppy, even if squirrely. I think there's enough room with the Avs injuries and with Devon Taves out that you can look at a night like tonight with the Avs defense and say you could do better, but this is good enough.
Yeah, I mean, the standards become so high with this team.
It's true.
It's to a point in this game where it's kind of the thing we've done a lot, where it's, I mean, you're nitpicking, you're stretching, you're looking for things to want to improve and refine because you know that perfection, although the goal is never going to be the reality.
Mm-hmm. You have to live with some of that for sure. It's when you get it out of the right guys. The forward core, you got it out of everybody. The D core, you got it out of the right guys. You got it out of a Cale Makar. You got
20. Well, how much does that increase your margin for error, right?
A lot.
Like, that's a discussion we had pregame about Cale Makar. Is he's one of the few people that you reasonably, given the roster constraints right now, being a little bit shorthanded, he is one of those guys who you can just say, I know you do have that extra gear. That's probably asking too much of a Brett Burns at this stage of his career.
Probably.
Some of the forwards, we get frustrated by some of the stuff. It'd probably look a whole lot better if you had Nuke and Landy on the ice. You're not going to have all these same stretches, but they're finding ways to make it work. And that's what this team needs to do because, again, they're just too talented for that to be
100%
an excuse of, poor play for an extended period.
Yeah, 100%. And look, we put a lot of this on the Stars. I always do this in the pregame. They're too talented top to bottom. Let's not pretend like the bottom of their lineup is a problem skill-wise. Parker Kelly scored the first goal of this game on a nice deflection play. Like, those guys have to be able to pitch in too. And when you get those pitches in, that's what turns a game that could have been close, tight, hard-fought down the finish. Instead, you get a 5-2 game because you got set up for success by some of your depth guys, and then your best players finished it.
It was nice to see MacKinnon go murder mode, man.
God, was that fun. I haven't seen enough of that over this last stretch. And we all know MacKinnon has it in him. We all know when the chips are down, he's going to show up. But this version of Nathan MacKinnon is the one that wins the MVP.
Yeah, the guy is... I'm convinced, man. He's fueled by pettiness and spite at times.
Honestly.
I think the same thing about Sean Payton, the Broncos head coach. I say it complimentary. I don't know what they need to do if they need to just people need to like make sure Nate's tires low on his car on the way to the game. Just put him in a bad mood.
Put a whoopee cushion in his stall or something.
Leave sugar cereal around the locker room.
Yeah. When he gets into that mode, and it's a fine line, right? I think especially you look at the reset that the Avs kind of did with this game without Gabe Landeskog in the lineup for this bad stretch. You worry that Nathan MacKinnon is going to fall into that petulance a little bit of the version of him who gets upset and kind of whiny and throwing his head back and doing all of that. But with the tough loss, with the Avs, taking a little bit of a look at themselves and saying, hey, we've lost 4 of 6. This is not up to our standards. Let's be serious. You see him channel that anger into the I'm going to go out there and do something about it version.
Yeah, when he's able to channel it in a productive way, it's one of the best things that happens with this team. You can have a lot of debates about the best player in the world. Angry Nathan MacKinnon, who's channeling it, is the best player in the world. It's tangible, though.
Yeah.
You feel the entire energy in a game shift in a way that is pretty unique in sports. Like, I don't even know who to compare it to. It's like Steph Curry getting hot from 3 where you just start, banging shots. It's like, I don't really know what you're supposed to do. That guy's really good.
Just hope he misses.
Yeah, he's going to create space. Like, it's what he does. It's fun, man. And that's where it gets so frustrating when he has those 2-3 games where it just feels like
it's the opposite of fun.
Would you rather be watching Netflix right now?
Right.
Like, what are you doing, mate? But when he's on, he's on. And I need a snack after I watch Nathan MacKinnon. I'll say that.
I need a smoke.
Let's take a quick break real quick. Let's shout out a couple of our awesome partners. Keep the show rolling. Hit the thumbs up if you're listening.
I want my shot.
I want to talk to you guys about Taco Bell. We've got exciting news to share. We can officially announce that Taco Bell has brought back the iconic quesarito for a limited time. Jokic tried it. I don't know if you guys saw that. Big, yeah, he finally tried it. You know what that means for Denver fans. Nikola Jokic was drafted by the Denver Nuggets with the 41st overall pick in the NBA draft. During this time, the telecast had to cut out to a commercial which featured the launch of Taco Bell's quesarito. That makes me feel old. This cemented the legendary connection between Taco Bell and Nikola Jokic, and the Joker has now officially tried it. He is a believer. Even better, Taco Bell has brought back its spicy volcano sauce to pair with the quesarito to take the heat to the next level. Get over to T-Bell, celebrate the Joker, pick up a volcano quesarito today. And while you're at it, don't forget to grab something from Taco Bell's crispy chicken menu, whether it be a taco, burrito, strips. Taco Bell's crispy chicken delivers every single time. They do not miss with football playoffs taking full effect. Be the hero of the party. Don't forget to pick up a crispy chicken game day package featuring chicken strips, soft tacos, and of course, Taco Bell's amazing nacho fries. This is a winning combo. Live Mas at Taco Bell.
Sometimes Nathan MacKinnon's queso. Sometimes he's a quesarito. All right. That's the difference. Hope you don't live near a volcano. But if you do, or maybe some other natural disaster, New Built Restoration and Construction has your back. They're licensed general contractors who can help with any project, big or small, and they're available 24/7 and truly care about being there for their customers. They offer repair services for pretty much everything, but fire damage, water damage, mold removal, repair services, and more. They've got you covered when that disaster hits. They also offer commercial projects and other things too, so you can reach out to them even if it's not a disaster. Even when there is an issue, they'll work with your insurance to make sure a stressful process is as smooth as possible. Plus, they're true DNVR fans. They're part of the family. So get in and support a business that helps support us too. When that home emergency hits, New Built Restoration and Construction will be there at newbuilt.com. That's NUBILT.com. Or call 720-903-4254 and let them know DNVR sent you. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast as we keep it rolling here. 3 stars of the game. And I went with Cale Makar as the 3rd star tonight. I think there were other guys you could have given it to, but Cale obviously has the 1 point, scores the great goal that gets taken back, although, maybe MacKinnon deserves more credit for setting that one up. But it was all of the other stuff. J-Mike, you talked in the pregame about, hey, do the little things right. Cale Makar did a lot of the little stuff tonight.
He was locked in, and it was nice to see. He was aggressive offensively. He really was all over the place defensively. He was the Cale Makar that we know he is capable of being. I don't know. I want to speak to a manager when it comes to the officiating in this game. I'm going to go full Karen. Nail my man a goal.
The Avs won, and I know I complain about officiating a fair amount on like watch-alongs and stuff. I really don't like talking about it, but it was so brutally bad tonight for both teams. And the officiating is one problem.
I mean, the Avs got 2 power plays that left me dumbfounded as well.
Calls.
So it was just bad.
Made this power play goal Washington scores is on a made up call. Scott Wedgwood drops his stick and the guy steps on a loose stick behind the net.
Never seen that one before,
which is insane, especially when you consider the dropping of Lindgren's stick means that it's goalie interference, which the reffing bad. Okay, whatever.
The inconsistency though.
The goalie interference is the problem. Like, regardless, I've been here long enough. I've known to give up on trying to figure out what is and what isn't goalie interference. But when you look at how Lindgren reacts to this play, even if you think that's goalie interference, you have to call embellishment on Lindgren for that play regardless. A interference where he barely gets touched and maybe his stick gets knocked out of his hand does not require a goalie to throw both of his gloves off as he slides across into the other side of the net. It's just ridiculous that goalies are allowed to get away with stuff like that and benefit their team because of it. And if you let calls keep going this way, they're only going to do it more. We've already seen across the league, every goalie recognizes when someone's in his crease and they step up and they intentionally move into them to get goalie interference calls. And if you're now allowing these yard sale nonsense things to happen, you have to stop it. You cannot let this continue in the NHL.
Well, and what's especially ridiculous about it is, unlike basketball where it's happening live and in the moment, you're not reviewing these sequences where people are foul baiting and the offensive players initiating all the contact. Yeah. You're looking at it. You can see clear as day what happened.
Right.
How do you overturn that? In what world is that goaltender interference? And like you said, if nothing else, fine, you're going to call it, but then you got to call embellishment. Right. Because that's just ridiculous.
There's no way you can review that penalty and not see the absurdity of a goaltender throwing. Have you ever seen a goaltender throw both of his gloves off before? When they're winning the Stanley Cup, maybe.
When they're trying to fight?
Yeah. Like, I've never seen that before. It's clear as day that guy is selling that.
Which is also a penalty in its own right if you're intentionally throwing the gear, I would assume.
It's certainly the blocker side. It sure looks like he throws it at the puck, but
I'm sure they'll give you all the benefit of the doubt in the world in that scenario. Yeah. But
it's just disappointing that the NHL doesn't know what to do in these situations. You are supposed to be the stewards of this game. You're supposed to keep the integrity of the game, and stuff like that is stomping on the integrity blatantly in your face.
And even in a less deep sense, it's just not fun. This isn't good. This isn't enjoyable as a product. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
let's take away these highlight goals on really subjective ticky-tack nonsense.
Right.
If anything, let them play. Like, I'd rather it the other way, whereas, man, there should have been way more penalties in this game. And I know that can get dangerous too, but that kind of stuff drives me absolutely. Like, this isn't what we signed up to watch.
Right. It's hard to watch a game where the refs are impacting the game so much. I understand you have a rule book and you need to follow it, but you don't.
I mean, if you don't get the insurance goal after and they come down and tie it, this conversation's completely different.
I would be crashing out on this post game right now if that happened.
Because it could have been pivotal. It's fortunate that it wasn't, but I mean, that really could have swung the game the other way. And then just the seemingly, I guess, just erratic timing of like when they make calls and when they don't, to me, that's what's really confusing. And I know that there's always going to be an element of that, of, trying to keep the penalties somewhat even and trying to even things out and all that. But I don't know. There were multiple calls that got called penalties that I didn't understand. There were multiple calls both ways that I thought could have been penalties and weren't. The Avs pick up the tripping penalty. Then they had a far more egregious trip like 30 seconds later. That's nothing.
It was made up.
I'm at a loss for words. And that's where it's not good, is when, people that are watching on a daily basis are sitting here scratching their head trying to understand the reasoning behind what they just watched.
Give up trying to understand it, because you won't. I will say, from the Avalanche point of view, in hindsight, in the moment in the game, those calls are a joke. Get over it. For the Avalanche to have won this game, for the Avalanche to respond the way they did to that taken back goal, go out and get it again. Really, really encouraging to see this team
Don't hang your heads. Yeah.
Right, get into that mindset of whatever happened doesn't matter. We have to go out there and be the better team and go win the hockey game still. And that's exactly what they did. All that to say, Cale Makar was awesome tonight. Deserved better. Second star of the game.
I forgot we were even doing stars.
I know.
Let's not be.
No, it's just part of the thing. Victor Olofsson, star number 2, a multi-point night. And important to see, we asked some of these depth guys to step up. The Avs middle 6, they were switching the second and third line guys around a bit, but Olofsson played on both. Not only does he pick up a huge goal that ends up being the game-winning goal at the end of the day, but he also picks up another point, and you're seeing that middle 6 come alive in the way you want. I know it's a really frustrating night for Ross Colton not getting that goal, but all of them elevated their game in a way where you go, yeah, this is championship depth.
This team, when they turn it on, it's really a sight to behold.
Yep. And
it's just, again, like you kind of talked about it on the pregame show, but, in an ideal setting, your star is going to score a goal, maybe get a depth goal, and then you see from there.
Yep.
You're getting guys taking advantage of their opportunity, and that's really all you can ask for while you're shorthanded, right? Like,
right.
The stars are, Nathan MacKinnon is Nathan MacKinnon, but you need Artturi Lehkonen, and I'm not trying to put him down. He's a first liner, but you know what I mean? Like, you need him and you need these other guys, Olofsson, to produce for you right now, because you don't have all your weapons.
You worry about the complacency on a team as good as the Avs, right? Because a lot of nights,
especially once you're starting to, like, it's one thing when Dallas is nipping on your heels. Right. Once you're starting getting up by double digits, it's tough to stay locked in for 82 games.
And it's very easy for Victor Olofsson at points in this year to look to his left, look to his right, say, I have really good players. I can get away with a little bit of a night off here and there. With those guys out, you can't get away with that. And you have to be able to, I know sports people hate this, and a lot of people believe that you can't flip the switch, but you have to be able to flip the switch a little bit at times. You have to say, hey, we need someone to step up, and someone has to turn the lights on and go, okay, it needs to be me.
Your ceiling is your ceiling. Like, your physical limitations are always going to be that.
Yep.
But I'm with you. I think there's absolutely something to that, just in the simplest sense of, in any job, some days you're going to really, some days when I'm writing, man, I'm in my flow state and I'm like, this was creative and it's good pacing. And they're really going to enjoy this. And sometimes, you
got to grind
it
out.
It's like pulling teeth to get 500 words on the page. And it's like, oh, good enough. We all have those days.
Yeah. And when you can afford them and it works, great.
Sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes you don't.
Yep. And it's not hard to see the Avs' mentality shift of knowing they needed to step up a little bit more in a game like this one. And it worked out, obviously a bounce here, bounce there. Who knows what we're talking about. But in this reality, guys like Olofsson stepped up, and he led that charge of depth guys who I did think most of had a very good game. But you know who the number one star is. Come on now. When Nathan MacKinnon looks like that, everybody buck up and get out of the way. Or I guess drive the net, because MacKinnon will find you and you'll be able to put one in the back. He also records his 1100th career point in this game, which is outrageous. Someone put it in the chat. It took Nathan MacKinnon 62 games to go from 999 to 1100. That's
absurd.
Fast.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Mac is truly, truly a special player. I know we talk about that a lot, but when you look at a guy that can take over games the way Nathan MacKinnon does, those only come around a handful of times every generation.
He just can do things that others can't.
Yep. Straight up.
Like, it's really that simple. He's just better at hockey than other people are.
And look at his goals tonight. His first goal on the power play, puts all the nonsense out of here, just drives the middle of the ice, shoots, scores. No craziness, no fanciness, no superstar Globetrotter plays. You look at his assist that gets taken away, a beautiful pass that sets up Kale for that goal. It ends up not counting. And what does he do when it gets called back? He goes out and does it again on the opposite side of the ice, this time across the other way to Lehkonen. Anyone in the world can get lucky and make a great play once. To be able to do it with repeated consistency, you're different.
His ability to score in the biggest moments, I think, is something that's maybe not focused on enough. Like, he's that guy when you do have a momentum play that flips the other way. Almost always it's him creating something either for himself or others when you need that goal to tie it up in the third period. Yep. Oftentimes it's Nathan MacKinnon. His clutch factor has been incredible. And I know early in his career, there were some people, well, it's not quite as good in the playoffs, but you look at the numbers that he's had of late, he's been unreal. When the lights are bright, Nathan MacKinnon shines.
He literally scored in their last game 7. They didn't win that game, but that's not on Mac.
Wasn't on Nate.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that night.
Yeah, I know. It's the fatalist in me. The Avs are really good. All of this to combine to say, yeah, they had a little bit of a rough patch, and now they have a response. You have to go out on Wednesday. You got to go 1-0 again, but this is exactly what it's supposed to look like when you want the Avs to punch back.
It's exactly what you would want from the Avalanche. If you are looking for exactly what you would want from your internet provider, look no further than Xfinity. With the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, what if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? What if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like a super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. Here's the best part, y'all. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment comes included. Take it from me. A lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price, unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions do apply.
MacKinnon about to have the 4th year in the row at 100 points. So maybe one more year on his 5-year guarantee on that front. There's also another guarantee, that being the official vehicle of DNVR in Toyota. I guarantee you they have a vehicle for everybody. They've got trucks, they've got SUVs, they've got sedans, crossovers, hatchbacks, whatever you're looking for. Toyota has you covered. 17 different models with all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive available, like the Epic 4Runner, whether that's just being on the roads or if you're going off-road. I'm not an off-roading guy. I don't really know what that entails, to be honest, but people tell me it's fun. So
sounds cool.
Go get your all-wheel drive and go enjoy the trails. They also have things for people like me, which is saving money on my commute. 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, like the Tundra iForce Max. Yes, even hybrid trucks available from Toyota. More lower zero-emission vehicles than any other automaker combined. Jump in with them. Go to your front-range Toyota stores, including AutoNation Toyota Rapids Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR and the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. Toyota, let's go places. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast as we keep rolling here. Did want to check in on the stat sheet with Dick's Sporting Goods as well, because I think it's going to fly under the radar in this game. But Scott Wedgwood, also very, very good tonight. J-Mike, you mentioned it, both goals against. One's a power play goal that he just never sees. The other one is a giveaway in the literal middle of the ice.
Still not sure what Burnsy was doing there.
Yeah, rough. But it stops everything else, including a couple of big ones. The Marty Natchez turnover early in the third period. makes the save on Ovi. If that goes in, you're in a 3-3 game. Who knows where this game is headed? Did he have a huge workload? No, but that's Avs hockey, baby.
You've got to make 2 to 3 probably, on average, probably 1 a period, maybe a couple a period if it's one of those nights, but you have to make the couple that fall on you.
Yep.
So frequently, the Avs are going to do the right things in front of you, but they had a couple of scary instances and he stood tall when they needed him to. And that's really all you can ask for in your goaltender. Like, just correct. Be in the moment.
You were significantly better than the other guy. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all you need to do. You go 1-0 every single day.
I'll be interested to see if it's Wedgwood or Blackwood on Wednesday. Because I was a little surprised it wasn't Blackwood today.
I was expecting Blackwood to...
Kind of figured you'd give him a chance to get a get-right game. I didn't think he was awful against that. No, I mean, it was just a bad game for the team altogether, but...
Yeah, I assume it'll be Blackwood and we'll go back to that 1-1 kind of pace, but I could be wrong. Bednar has his own thoughts when it comes to goaltending playing, so...
Oh, and he's not afraid to lean into he perceives as the hot hand.
Correct. So. And... with the Avs record, he's probably earned some leeway in doing whatever the hell he wants. So
in Bedsy, we trust.
Amen to that. I think this sums up a decent amount of players in the Toyota chat from Sky here. Did that many players have their best game tonight? No. But was it good enough? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think this was a game where your floor as a team was demonstrated. Yep. Like, this isn't the game that 2 months from now you look back on and, oh man, that Monday matinee against Washington. It was a movie, man. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
But it's not Nashville either.
Right.
Where we have to talk about 8 different guys who objectively played some of their worst hockey this season. Yeah. There were ugly stretches. Burns got lost defensively, give up a goal. That ugly Marty Nietzsche's turnover almost leads to a ripper from Ovi. And I mean, of all the guys to turn the puck over, that is not the guy.
Right. The last person you want to give it to. There was some other sloppy play.
Sammy G had some moments. Thought he played well over the second half of the game, though.
He got better as the game went on. There were some real issues I had with his game in the first half, and then it got better. And that's it. Like, that's the answer. You want to be the best players, the best team in the world, you're going to have bad plays. It's what do you do with the next time? What do you do with the time after that? If you make a big mistake and you come back and make consistent good plays from that, yeah, that's what good is. Perfection is unattainable. You have to look at what you're capable of. And again, mental fortitude from everyone on the Colorado Avalanche in this game. There are a lot of things that could have gotten your head tonight, whether it be the lack of penalty calls, the goalie interference, the actual penalties called,
just the human nature of your teammate getting in an accident before the game. Like, I mean, there were written in excuses with this game just from that alone, it being a matinee. And instead you come out, I don't know if it's an A performance, but probably B
plus,
above average. Yeah. I think, I think that would be more than the baseline, but it was exactly what you hope to see coming off of probably an F game, which might be the only time I would say that this year.
Yeah, I mean, Bednar certainly thought so. So
that was a brief presser.
Yeah. And that's, you even look at the special teams tonight. You give up a power play goal on some made up call. All right, fine, whatever. It happens. That's the only power play goal you give up, despite other penalties that you need to kill, and you do a good job of it. Your power play ultimately goes 1 for 6. Could it have been better? Yes. Do you want it to be better? Yes. Was it good enough? Also, yes. You don't have to be great everywhere all the time. You just need good enough out of most categories.
Well, and it's also important to remember that I just think Cale Makar and Devon Toews so drastically skew perception.
Yeah.
Like, if you compare everyone to those guys, it's going to be tough.
Of course. Yeah. You can't have all world players on every pairing, on every line.
It'd be cool. The time. I'd be in favor of it.
You'd be the LA Dodgers at that point.
Yeah, I guess. I hope there's a strike, man.
Amen. Don't even get me started on that team.
Never in my life would I have thought I'd be pro putting sports on pause, but
here we are.
Dodgers are the Nazis of sports at this point.
We do have Jared Bednar's audio from today as well, he actually had some things to say about this game, so that was nice. Let's hear from Coach after the solid win.
Take questions for head coach Jared Bednar. Ryan, start off with you.
Alex Barry-Boulet was called up at the last second earlier this morning. He hadn't registered a point in an NHL game since 2023. How impressive was he tonight, given the short notice?
Yeah, I liked him. I mean, that line did some good things for us. Like, they drew a few icings, had a good forecheck, drew a penalty. You know, like, they were able to sustain some ozone time. That was in the second period. We were able to jump out our top guys and get a favorable matchup a couple times. So short notice for sure. And he came in, did a nice job. You know, they shortened their bench a little bit, so did we, so they didn't see a lot of ice time in the second half of the game.
Eric, go ahead.
What were your thoughts on the game overall, and particularly the effort in the third period?
I liked it. I liked the whole game, our effort and mentality and commitment to check the right way. We made a couple mistakes, a couple of those low attacks. They scored on the one where we left the guy all alone net front thinking we were going to get a touch on the puck, and we were heading to like some areas to go break out, and then we kind of got beat out of the corner on another one that Wedgie made a big save on. So, but 5-on-5 defending was good. You know, we took a few too many penalties, but I thought overall, like, really good effort from our team and a good bounce back game from us.
Jesse, then Colleen.
Kind of a two-parter here. One, do you feel any clearer on what goaltender interference is? And two, I imagine you have to like the response from your group after that call doesn't go your way.
Yeah, no, I have no clue what it is still to this day. I don't mind saying it, and but like to just stick with it. And like we were having a good third period too again, and we had a great second period 5-on-5 as well. So we were starting to put together some good shifts and extended time and getting some good looks at the net. And obviously that's a huge play right after that. You know, great play by Marty on the wall, Nate to pick it up, Lucky to go to the net, just all around skating onto the puck and making sure we're getting touches so we can keep going in the right direction. They did that on that play, and it gets us that 2-goal lead again.
Colleen, then Pat.
You lose Nutrition in the beginning of the game, come in, move Olofsson and Colton and Nelson together. They played together before, but what did you think of that line? Obviously pretty.
Yeah, they were good. I like that line a lot. I think Ole's playing some really good hockey recently, and Colt seems to be re-energized playing up with Nelly. So it was a good line. I liked I liked their whole team tonight. I can't pick out a player where I was like, geez, I didn't like what he did. There was a play here and there, but I think overall the effort and the commitment to play the right way was there throughout our lineup.
Pat, then Corey.
To kind of piggyback off what Jesse was talking about, it looked like Wedgwood had the stick knocked out and then the guy tripped over it. I mean, what was what did you see on that?
That's exactly what I saw. Their guy skated through, knocked the stick out of his hands, and tripped on it behind the net. Yeah, I mean, you tell me if it's a penalty or not. Obviously it is tonight.
Corey, then Evan.
You mentioned needing a little bit more from some guys because of some of the guys that were out. I mean, it's all relative, but was Nate in that group? Because he's had a couple of really good games recently and a couple of less impactful, at least by his standard. And then just what did you think of him?
Well, he was great tonight. Yeah, he was fantastic. And it took him, and also those guys, they want to score early and often, right? But you got to continue to play the right way on the other side of the puck, on the defensive side, and do all the little things without the puck in order to be able to go score, right? And to have the puck enough. And they managed the puck well. They were dangerous. They've played the game plan. So the fact that it didn't happen for them early in the game, and then they are able to just stay with it and then get rewarded twice in the third. It's what you need, And so when you're missing players, I think regardless of who they are, you need your top guys to be really good, right? Because the margin for error is smaller, and it gets incrementally harder to win, and you need those guys to have big nights on a lot of nights, right? And they had one tonight, and we needed it to get back on track.
Evan, then Kobe.
Just Val didn't play in this one. It seemed like a stretch. Is there anything Any update on him?
Yeah, he got in a car wreck on the way to the rink to the game, so he had some minor injuries. Came to the rink, got checked out, and everything, seems to be okay, just not good enough to play tonight. Just a little bit of a precautionary day, and we'll see what tomorrow brings for him. Yeah.
Goalie.
Nate is the 70th player to reach 1,100 points in the NHL. Are there things on a daily basis that shock you about what he's able to do, or is it just like there's nothing new that's surprising you, I guess?
No, I think when you're around him every day, and you see the way he works and how professional he is and how dialed in he is in like every aspect of his career, doesn't shock me at all. But when you just kind of sit back and look at the numbers and how consistent he's able to produce and still play hard on the defensive side of the puck, there's not much he's lacking in his game, right? So when you kind of take a bird's eye view of it, he impresses me every day, and he shocks me every day. But then, like anything else, if you're around it every day, you just sort of come to expect it. It doesn't make it any easier for him to continue to do that. You just kind of expect, like, well, why didn't he get 3 points tonight? That's kind of where it's at. So, he's had a hell of a career to this point, and there's no signs of him slowing down. So I'm sure he's well on his way to another, however many points he's going to get.
Last couple ones, D-Mac.
With the car wreck, was it more of a fender bender, or was it kind of serious, like going to the hospital sort of thing?
No, it was a fender bender, yeah. But serious enough to keep him out of the lineup tonight. So.
Was it neat? I'm sorry to be so specific.
I don't know all the details. Otherwise, I'd help you out. Like he was, the roads were icy when the guys were coming in this morning and slick, and there was a multiple vehicle accident. Yeah.
Okay. Finish with Ryan.
Since the power play meeting you mentioned for the Ottawa game, the power play has converted on 21% of their opportunities, which is statistically better than it's been. Are you satisfied with the progress, and where else do they need to improve?
Well, we're still going to work to improve it. It's actually better than 21% because at the end of whatever game it was, like we were playing Manson on the top of the power play to try to get him a hat trick and some other guys, and even the one we get tonight, it's 18 seconds and we put our fourth line out. We probably burned 5 or 6 of those power plays. I think I have it in the 25% range since we've kind of flipped things around, which is good. It's a good start. We want to be as dangerous as possible, and we've had some power plays in that stretch that haven't looked great, and we've had some that have looked fantastic, but it's definitely getting more consistent, and guys are continuing to work on it and share ideas and get on the same page and then just work on the execution part of it. So I think it's still going to come yet again.
Corey, go ahead, finish.
Could you sort of give us a little bit of a logistics of how and when Alex got here? If it was that?
Yeah, I think we let him know about 50 minutes before the guys were supposed to be here, right? Which is 2 hours before the game or whatever. So it was under 3 hours before the game, and he got in just in time coming up from Loveland.
Okay, thank you guys.
Worth noting, Barre Boulet, last second call up, gets a point in this game.
Yeah.
Did get the secondary assist on that Parker Kelly goal. So getting value even in the limited ice time that those fourth liners did get.
I just wonder when that guy got to the arena, man. Were you up in Loveland? And I drove down this morning. The fog was crazy. Just a whirlwind of events.
They're paying for that dude to get in the express lane, though.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Kroenke, I don't know. He's like, we'll reimburse you, but you pay for it out of pocket.
You have to pay up front.
Also, we're only doing it for the way down.
Right. On the way.
There's no rush going back. Take your time.
When we send you back down, you're on your own. It's fine. It does sound like it wasn't too serious with Val, so that's good. Obviously, you hope everything's okay there, but it could have been worse. I think fair to say the tale of all of the Avs injuries. Obviously, you don't love where they're at with the number of them, but Landy, it sounds like he avoided anything serious. We know Taves is already on the way back to recovery. Close. Yeah. So if the price to pay for the Avs is a stretch of injuries in January,
now's the time.
Right.
Like if we're gonna have some bad luck there, let's get it out of the way before the Olympics.
yeah. Unfortunately, you can also just have bad luck after the Olympics, but hopefully not. Hopefully this is the peak of it, and the Avs can roll on. And when you look at Colorado's lineup, I'll ask you, J-Mike, do wins like this one make you feel more comfortable in the sense of the Avs having to do stuff at the deadline? Obviously, you're always trying to get better, but when you prove you can win with some of these guys out of the lineup, I'm not saying the Avs are going to stand pat, but maybe you don't need to be as aggressive.
Yeah, I think you're a lot more stable in your position going in. Sure, you're open to getting better. You're always open to getting better.
Yep.
But it's not last December where if we don't fix this goaltending problem, this whole season's going to go down the shitter. It's not.
For sure.
If we don't solve this 2C, like we don't have any chance. And obviously it didn't play out the way they hoped last year, but you're feeling that benefit down the line. I think they're in a really good position. I think it helps that you've had guys like Brindley really exceed expectations. And
yeah,
it helps when you have some of these guys that are coming up from Loveland and
contributing.
They're not really
another.
skipping a beat.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're going to hold your expectations relative to the player, but I think it makes you feel good about where you're at depth wise. I also think it makes you feel good where you're at organizationally because it speaks to the development that you're having, up in Loveland, which is phenomenal. I mean, it's good to see. If they could shore up just one thing, like if you had one move, and we're not even player, just like what area do you feel like would be the one they could do realistically? Because you're not gonna like make a big trade, but
you need a lefty. I don't think you can.
Yeah, you've been saying that all year.
Yeah, and not that like this is probably, despite the Avs struggles, the last handful of games have probably been the best stretch of Solovyov's season for the Avs. And even then, you're still not comfortable going into a playoff series with him in your lineup, I don't think. Which when the Avs are fully healthy, he's your 7. But if you're one injury away from putting him in, I think you would probably feel a lot more comfortable with him as your 8. And I think also it would take some pressure off of Taves to really be the number 1 lefty on this team by a wide margin. So I think you need help at lefty. I think that's, of course, you want a 3C as well, but I think the lefty spot is more important for Colorado.
Is that a realistic need you could fill? Like, what are the it's easy to throw out all these forwards that people love to talk about all the time. It's like, all right, you're not going to make that work. Like, is that something you could feasibly make a move?
If you want a 5 or a 6, like a bottom pairing lefty, you could definitely find one. I don't think that would be that difficult. If you're looking for like a second pairing guy, things get a little bit more murky. And we're still, a month and a half away from the deadline. Some teams, especially in the East, are very likely to fall out of it over the next 2 weeks here before the Olympic break. And then we'll really start to see who's really available on the left-handed side. You never know. Rasmus Anderson, who ended up going to Vegas the other day.
I didn't see that coming.
So moves can materialize that maybe you're not necessarily expecting. I know Ferraro's a guy on a lot of people's list that the chat is talking about here. I have zero interest in Logan Stanley personally, but definitely I'm sure the Avs have some names on a list. I couldn't tell you necessarily what they are right now.
That matters less to me because that's like in my job on the CSU side before you've even gotten into the portal. It's like, do you want me to throw out 65 hypothetical quarterbacks? Half of them in the league are in the portal.
I can name every second pairing lefty in the league and be like, maybe depending on.
He'd be fun.
Yeah, right.
I could see that.
So it's going to depend on how things shake out, who starts selling, who starts buying over the next 2 weeks and then the last week after the Olympic break. But I would be surprised if the Avs weren't involved in a number of things, even if it is a place of comfort that they're operating from. So
it's been a while, I feel like, since they just did nothing.
They've actually never done nothing.
Never once?
Some years it's literally just an AHL trade, but they have a trade streak on deadline day that has
I
been
like
for,
it. I mean, that's what it feels like. So I guess it's not shocking, but
yeah, their entire existence as the Avs. They've always found a way to sneak at least one silly trade in there. So
trying to pull up the standings. Google pulls up the 2024, 2025. Why would that be what I'm looking at? Helpful tech. Good shit. 13 points now in the division, though.
Yeah, it's
getting silly.
And obviously, you never want to have a bad stretch of hockey, but the Avs picked their bad stretch at the same time the rest of the Central Division was having their bad stretch of hockey. So
that's got to be so annoying if you're a Minnesota or a Dallas fan of like, this was our moment.
And you blew it.
This was the one realistic chance we had to get back in the mix here, and we just completely shit the bed.
Yep. It's frankly not close. The Avs, this horrible stretch of hockey where, you know, how you can chop it up how you want.
But they're 6-3-1 over the last 10.
Their last 10, they're 6-3-1. Yeah, they've lost 4 of their last 7.
Yeah.
But then on the homestand, they're 3-1-1. So like
with a chance to go 5-1-1.
It's really how zoomed in you are on the telescope that you're really looking at a couple of different things. If this does end up being the Avs' worst stretch of the season, they're really, really, really good. Dallas 2-6-2 in their last 10. Minnesota over 500 at least, but 4-3-3. Most teams in the West aren't even keeping up. You have Vegas, who's won their last 7 in a row. So that's a team that's at least being competitive. The Sharks have been surprisingly good, and Utah's gotten back on the horse.
They were the team I wanted to ask you. Could you see Utah maybe sneaking up on one of these teams, Minnesota or Dallas, if they were to? It feels like still a pretty large gap to overcome.
I think Utah is fighting really, really hard to get the 1 wild card spot instead of the 2, so they don't have to play the Avs in round 1. I think that
makes sense.
That's their mission right now. But you look at a league, forget the West. You can go over to the East too, other than Tampa, who's played absolutely out of their minds as of late. There are not really teams making up much ground on the Avs in their worst stretch of the season. Reminder to myself, as much as everyone else, you don't have to get that upset about things. Things are actually quite good, even when you're at the Avs' low point.
It's all relative, baby.
True.
I mean, we're to the point now where it's, I was at my resort vacation, and it wasn't even that sunny today.
Right. It's like, oh no.
And they didn't bring me a refill on time. And my food was only pretty good.
Not good enough.
What I even come here for?
I'm paying good money for this.
It's absurd, and it's important to keep that in mind, right?
Yes.
Like, I think there are times where we're looking for things to drill because we can't just sit here for 5 hours a week, and they're amazing. Everything's good. There's nothing that's ever gone wrong. It's all going to be perfect, but
you can't live in fantasy land, because that's how you get overconfidence. That's how the cracks start to happen, and you don't acknowledge them.
Things that this team struggles with at times that are very frustrating. The power play is the easiest example.
Look at the front of their net in this game. It cropped up again.
I mean, that's probably the biggest thing I would say in terms of I'd really like to see that a lot cleaner these next 2 games.
Yes.
You've got to stop.
Look, once again, Sam Girard is who he is. He's never going to be good at that. So that puts pressure on guys like Burns and Manson that they have to be better there, because
you just can't
don't
get
have
lost.
taste. Right.
And as long as you're not a liability, it's probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
But there is more pressure on you because you don't have Taze out there.
I'm not asking you to make all world plays. I'm asking you to not leave a guy wide open 5 feet from your goalie.
Is that too much?
I hope not. It better not be.
What are your thoughts on the power play? Because we haven't talked about it a lot, but just before we get out of here.
Yeah, I thought it was good tonight. You end up with that extra power play that's 18 seconds long. That
just to skew the stats.
It hurts your numbers, but in reality, their power play was not that bad tonight. you have some weird stuff where, like, I get it if you want to be upset that they didn't score on the 5-on-3, but that 5-on-3 was made up and they never should have been on in the first place. And then the penalty they took to end it was made up and shouldn't have been called in the first place. So you end up with some weird situations that the Avs statistically get punished for that weren't necessarily accurate. You scored one. Like I said, right now, all I'm really looking for out of the power play is for it to be good enough.
Yeah.
And it was in this one. And then even your other power plays, I don't think were truly terrible. You had decent opportunities. Your top unit especially, I think, had multiple good chances that, you know, they didn't go in. Maybe they didn't quite click, but it looked dangerous, which is, it's too late in the season for moral victories, but you have to start by looking dangerous to then start converting on the danger.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta walk before you run. Figure out your process.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be getting closer. I feel like I've said that for 6 weeks, but I was pretty satisfied. It wasn't like the other day where it was just, I'd think you should just punt. Can you decline a penalty?
Yep. At sometimes it feels like it, but you know, can the refs also call penalty shot? They could do that. It's allowed. We do need to shout out a few more of our sponsors that I totally didn't forget about, and I'm doing right now. Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. You can jump in. You saw me drinking an Avalanche just on the show. They have beers for everybody, though. Avalanche is my favorite. Yeah, look, J Mike's even got the shirt on. Dozens of beers to choose from, including seasonal ones. They've got one for every sports team in Colorado. Even if you don't like beer, they've got the Good Company hard seltzer to get with. So get with Breck Brew. They've been doing it for 33 years, and it all comes down to their love and passion for making good beer. Plus, they make it with 100% renewable energy. So go check out Breck Brew. You can go to breckbrew.com to find a location near you that sells it. They're available in all 50 states now. You can also see all the Breck Brew merch. So get to breckbrew.com today to check that out. And then get with our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Make some bets on this one. The lucky bet hit. We ended up with that one tonight, so that was nice. Did not get the under because the ads had to go and score some meaningless goals at the end. But such is life with the bets. If you want to gamble with Bet365, make sure you sign up with code DNVR365. You put $10 in your account, bet $5 on anything. Win or lose the bet, you get $100 in bonus, $200 in bonus bets. It's even more than that. You can play around with those. It's fun. Mess around. I bet you get some fun bets on the Broncos and the rest of the NFL season if hockey's not your thing. But they have a bunch of boosts that you can use. And the NHL, if your team gets up by 3 at any time, you get paid out immediately if you picked them to win. So get in with it at Bet365. Bet the $5, win or lose, $200 in bonus bets when you sign up with code DNVR365. Of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. All right. We got it in there. I think we are all good. Chat, we're at 99 likes. I'll tell you what, if you get to 100, we'll do one after the show and you'll just have to trust us, okay? You were too slow to get it in on the actual show, but one more and we'll do it post game of the post game. J Mike, any final thoughts on this one before we get out of here?
Close the homestand the right way. You're back on track. You win 2 here and that little sluggish stretch is just a blip on the radar.
It's right back into the Avs are untouchable at the top of the league. Absolutely. So keep it simple. Keep doing what you're doing. If you look at a game like tonight for the Colorado Avalanche, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate all y'all. You did hit the 100 like, so we'll go do our shots. This has been the DNVR Avalanche postgame show presented by Bet365, and we will see you for an off day show tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.